All right, homies, what up? Otis Funkmeyer, Tick Tick Pop, back at it. Thought it was time to change it up a bit, and so I posted asking what you guys wanted for something different, and the unanimous winner was Poppin John, which makes sense to me. He's very famous on the internet, and he's very dope, and I think it's a good choice because as far as I see it, he sort of is the bridge between popping and dubstep dance, which to me are reasonably different things. I don't really subscribe to like dubstep dance is a bunch of idiot retards who just don't know that it's actually called popping. They really emphasize very different things. They don't emphasize continuous hitting, and they have a very different rhythmic approach. It's a lot more staccato, and I saw what happened with Liquid, and when I was a youngster, and people said that's just waving, like, don't give them any credit. I don't really like that. I feel like shitting on the new generation is not very productive. I think it's better to try to build a bridge between generations, and in a lot of ways Poppin John is that bridge. I know him a little well. He was really good friends with one of my really good friends, Poppin Todd, and I think he learned a lot from Poppin Todd and got really inspired, especially with Poppin Todd street performing. And a funny random story is that my old roommate and Elastic Illusion partner, Tyson Eberly, was doing this Silverman routine as a street performer in Hollywood and in Santa Monica. And he got sick of doing it because we had started doing Elastic Illusion, and Todd came over to our house one day, and Tyson was like, yeah, dude, you can just have this. And so that's how Todd started doing this Silverman thing. And then Poppin John saw Todd do the Silverman thing, and he started doing the Silverman thing. And Tyson got inspired by, I can't actually remember the guy's name, but a Silverman who still does Silverman. He's kind of a short, squat black guy, and he does Silverman in Venice and Santa Monica and Hollywood still to this day. I can't remember his name, though. He's not a very well-known popper. Anyway, that's more useless random trivia with Otis Funkmeyer. I like this. I like this switch it up. I have to be honest, I'm a little nervous with what I'm going to say because I can't really tell if I'm going to be like, oh, Poppin John is so dope, or if I'm like, oh, Poppin John is not that good or something. And I like him as a person, and so I really feel a little conflicted, to be honest with you. But the honesty must continue. So we're going to look at two clips, which was suggested by the homie Poppin Lou, who always comes with the good suggestions. And the first one is one of his more famous clips. It's at Urban Dance Showcase. So let's take a look at this. I could never do this, I don't think. This, like, I'm a robot thing. So props to him. Yeah, these are very impressive dime stops, and you can very much see the bridge between this and Dragon House, which to me, Dragon House are like the major figures in dubstep dance. I may not be right. I don't follow dubstep dance that much, but that's how I see it. Yeah, and obviously there's massive Mad Chad influence, which means that there's massive Bop and Andre influence in this. So Poppin John has always had really good footwork. I think that's a very underrated element of what makes him dope. Very isolated footwork, ability to go up on his toes without going up.
Would someone please hang that phone up?
So funny to me that he would choose this song. It's a little offbeat. Paul, that's right. That was a thing. Poppin John definitely had an offbeat problem for a long time. I don't think of him as having an offbeat problem at all at this point, but That was a thing. And I actually think it's his waves. It's that, to me, this is what all the kids fall in love with. He has like that. These are silky waves. Like, you could say that there are more creative wavers. You could see there are more complex wavers, but it would be very difficult to say that there are silkier, smoother wavers. And, you know, those glides are hard. And again, right there, that's the thing I'm referring to, right there. See, he turns and his head, he doesn't go up at all. Watch his head. His head doesn't even move. These are very impressive isolations. So I'm happy to say that I'm actually more impressed by this than I was expecting to be. Yeah, so this is actually very impressive. So all of that footwork, if you just look at his head is really not moving at all. And all of that is much, much, much harder than it appears. And it's what makes the isolation so clean. So I have a lot of respect for Poppin John's dedication to executing isolations as cleanly as he does. You don't get here by luck or talent or anything like that. You get here by a lot of hard work. Like, that's one of the only not perfect isolations I've seen so far. Like that. See, his head is moving a little bit. I mean, he still does that as good as anybody, except maybe Sally Sly. But I think he probably does it as good as Sally Sly. See, and all this footwork is based on his ability to move his feet without moving his head. And all those neckos, which he has good neckos, I think. Interesting neckos. They're very non-traditional. But a lot of it has to do... Yeah, his style has a lot to do with his ability to move his feet, twisting and all kinds like that. Pivot there. Right there. That footwork is all based on not moving the head. That's what makes it tight. Because most people would go up and down. You guys are all mostly poppers, so you probably know this, but just in case you don't. Now what's funny is he's really good at this, but Steen is killing him on this. It just goes to show how fucking crazy Steen is with those neck isolations. Nice, that was fun. So, some people are saying they find him a little repetitive, like somebody said something to the effect of, you've seen one video, you've seen 10 videos. Yeah, maybe. And I would actually say if there was anything I was telling Poppin John to do more of, and I think he would agree with this, actually. I don't think he would have any disagreement with this. He's a pretty humble guy in my experience. I think I would say, I'll let this music go. I think I would say to work more on foundation, because that's what, if there's anything I see just as like a feeling thing after having watched that, it would be that there are elements where it's kind of like, it's not exactly move to move to move to move to move, but that the lowest hanging fruit, the way that dance could be most improved is through better transitions, smoother transitions, so that things can flow from one thing to the next in a more, it's hard for me to put this into words actually, because it does have a good flow, but I think if there were more foundation, I don't have a better word, more popping foundation of walkouts and all of that those really serve as excellent transitions. That is really a thing you cannot take away from electric boogaloo style popping, is that it really has a lot of good transitions. So that is that. So now we're going to watch the next Poppin John video, which is a judge showcase that he did, I think, pretty recently. This was also suggested by Poppin Lou. Yeah, this is February. Oh, there he is. Look how slick the popping scene is getting in Asia. I saw Pop Joe there. Oh, Link. I saw Link. What up, Link? Wow. This is props. I'm just realizing if this were me, if I were Poppin John right now, I'd be nervous. He's in Asia with this audience. Is tight. He's better. I can see that already. The control of that shake compared to the shake he did in the previous video is way tighter. Oh yeah, dude, he's way better. Oh, this is sick. Thanks, Poppin' Lou. Dude, this is sick. This is crazy control. This is like starting to get in the same ballpark as Bop and Andre. I'm not positive. Oh, wow. That people... It's a big thing for me to say, too. Because people don't really approach Bop and Andre. Go John, dude. That head movement is super tight, too. Ah, this is gnarly. I want to dance more like this. This is tight. This makes me want to see him battle Frantic like this year. That seems off beat. Dude, you're off beat. Don't be off beat. You were so on beat at the thing. Okay. Good. Back on. Off beat. I'm going to shut up about it. I want to just focus on the movement. So this stuff is not as controlled. These are good glides, especially to use up that much space with the glides and for it to stay clean. Nice. So there's something I like more about this and something I like less about this. I like the control a lot more, but there's something more innocent. Whoa, that's pretty vicious. There's something less playful about this dancing. But I understand, dude. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of Asians looking at you. And that move wasn't super complete. I'm not sure if his waves are as good. It could just be the clothing, but I'm not sure that the waves are as good as they were. But what I see mostly is that his control of his shoulders and his torso, like his lats and his triceps, is way tighter. And his abs. And that's cool shit, man. Like, that's crowd-pleasing shit right there. Whoa, what the fuck was that? Dang. Bro, you're gonna hurt your ankles. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, you're off beat, man. Don't do that. It's kind of all off beat. Yeah, he's a very different dancer than me also, and I would never pick a song like this. This song doesn't inspire me at all. So that walk, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while, guys, but that's the camel walk. Tabo teaches that. That's such a dope walk. So what you do is you go onto your heels and you rock back on your heels and you go forward onto your toes to the next heel, back on the heel, forward to the next, to the toe, and then to the next heel. Nice. Nice. He's getting a lot of love, dude. I love it. I would say that the highs of that are that this dude's a problem. Like the best parts of this are this dude's a problem. Meaning, like, not a lot of people are fucking with that in terms of that opening. Let's watch the opening again. That was my favorite part. It's probably obvious from my reaction. It really reminds me of Bop and Andre. I have to say, you'd have to give a tremendous amount of influence to Andre and Mad Chad, I think. There might be dancers he's influenced by now. People like Cyrus and Glitch. Maybe that's the same person. I don't even know. That I just don't know much about yet. But this shit is sick. This is a tremendous amount of control. I bet this is nutty looking in person. So, I think that the thing for him is how can you turn this into a style? Because if we fast forward now, right, this is an intro, but then when you get to here, to the actual the get down, it gets a lot more traditional, right? At some level, like wave, wave, walk, walk, wave, wave, walk, step, step. All dope. I mean, dope. You know, no hate, nothing like that. But you know, some Toy Man angles, cut, wave, slow mo, speed change. Like, imagine if all of this was all glitched out like the intro was. To me, that's where I would, if I was Poppin John's coach, that's where I would be advising we go next. How can we turn that whole thing into a style? Because if you can do that with all the control you have and all this crazy footwork gliding shit you have, it's a real problem for folks. And it's also very original. I have to give him a lot of props too, because if I remember right, there's a kid from like the Albuquerque, El Paso area, kind of seems like both a little bit, and I think El Paso more. But you know, who he kind of came out of nowhere. The first time I ever heard his name was he battled Legend, who was a great dancer of my generation, and you know, he's just some no name, and everyone was saying, yo, he might have took Legend. I think Legend won, but it was, you know, it was debatable, and that was really surprising. And you know, he did like the rest of us, a lot of popping and boogaloo. That was kind of what was the only thing that was accepted in that era. Thank God the times change. And he kind of went with the different thing as the years went on. So props to him. I have tremendous respect for all of the early people, Function, ABM, and Mad Chad, and Tetris from my generation, Pandora, who had kind of like the wherewithal to kind of go their own way. And I think one of the things that those people have in common, now that I think about it, not Poppin John, but the rest of them, is that they're from LA. So they were literally exposed to more than just the electric boogaloos. They had the opportunity to maybe see Flat Top, see Bop and Andre, see Mr. Animation, and you know, many, many more people to get to see that there was more to it than that. See Elsewhere. Elsewhere is a big person in that. So this is dope. I like this. I like to see some of the newer guys and where they're taking the dance. I look forward to doing more of these guys. And salute to you, Poppin John. I think more than anything, what I have respect for you on is because I'm, you know, if I look to my left, and I'll let you guys maybe, I don't know if you'll see it. Look, there's my mirror, right? Burn. Can you see? I don't know. I can't tell because it's webcam style. Dude, I'm there in front of the mirror too, practicing isolations and control and so on, footwork, and like, dude, you took this shit to a really high level, and I know how much work that takes, or at least I can imagine how much work that takes. So, salute to you. Otis Funkmeyer, Tick Tick Pop. I'm peacing the fuck out.